Hey, welcome back to our RV solar channel. As you can see, it's a little overcast, a little rainy, a little wet, so we're working in the shop today on an Airstream, putting a lot of solar on it, a lot of batteries, and we're still going to try and keep as much storage space as possible. I'd love to show you all about it, so stick along, come along, stick around. How about that? Also, everyone wants to know what these guys are always up to. These are two shop dogs. Well, one is our shop dog, Bear, the Bernese mountain dog there. And then we got Zuki, the golden. He's a shop dog next door, but they have a lot of fun, as you can tell. So here we got this Airstream International here in the shop for some major Victron and solar upgrades. Let's take a look around front here where we're gonna have to be doing it. This particular model doesn't have a lot of storage. This is it, and the customer is really worried about losing this. And I assured him I think he's gonna still end up with a lot of that storage. We'll get into how we make that happen. Let's go take a look inside here. We're gonna be putting most of the stuff in that compartment up there. We'll make a board and put all the Victron components on it and mount it on this back wall here. Then I believe we're going to hopefully be able to fit two of the SOK batteries right in the center section here. Customer said he doesn't use too much there, so I think it's going to work perfect. Follow along to see how all that happens. Now, the challenging part to this is, on all the other Airstreams we've worked on, there's always been some sort of channel or something, you know, a bed on this side when the twin beds are here, where we can route things along this side or this side, but we've got to get power and some data cables from there all the way to here. Now this is going to be a tricky part. How are we going to do that? So I think we're going to have to go under the floor here and then pop up in here in the bathroom somewhere, and then over into this compartment. And then we'll also, oh, they got this double. They got the baby protector on there too. I guess maybe these are not as reliable as we like to think. Anyway, we're gonna have to run a cable right along here and mount the servo display right in here. I think that's our plan. Then the other little kind of nice, what would we call it? A convenience upgrade will be this inverter is no longer going to be doing anything. So what we'll do is remove that and replace that with another outlet with USB ports. Then on top we've got some solar we're going to take care of. But I've got to get to work on this because we've got to actually have some good solar in the next couple of days. And I want to make sure that we can actually test it when we're getting good solar. How about that? Because it's been raining here for what seems like almost a week now. Oh, this is a little different, huh? Got the bed off. Got this thing off, and I wanted to talk about pulling this thing off. Boy, was it tricky. I was thinking to myself, I don't know how I'm going to get all this off. But it turns out, Airstream, it wasn't that bad. So, there's one screw here, and there's some screws here. You got to take off that door. And then the whole thing just lifts right out. So, and then this is all pretty accessible, because I was thinking, oh boy, if it's only accessible through that panel there, that's going to stink. And then this is the board, I think, that we're going to mount everything to, but I like to test fit things. How about that? Test fit things before we get too far along.
Look at this. I believe the phrase you're looking for is like a glove.
All right, we've been doing some digging around and planning, and I think this is the layout for this board that I think is going to work the best. Never mind this guy right here. Want to go over what we're installing and the methodology behind the layout, because it's not by accident. So of course we're doing the Victron Multiplus 2 3000 kVA, or 3000 VA, not kVA, 2x120, so that works great with these 50 amp RVs. Although I think this is 50. Yeah, 2 air conditioners. This is 50. All right. Yeah, they work great with 50 amp RVs. because they have a relay inside that joins the two hot legs together when they're on inverter mode, so everything works. We love using them. Okay, we're going to be doing that. We're going to links distributor, so that can transfer the power safely because it's got internal fusing, and evenly because these are giant bus bars. I mean, this is how thick they are, pure copper. You can't build something cheaper than this. If you try to go on Amazon and buy the individual components that of what this does, you can't do it cheaper and you can't do it better. I believe that through and through. I've tried. Then we got the Servo SGX for the monitoring, and then of course the 50 amp solar charger for the solar. Okay. Then what else we got here? The shunt, of course, for measuring the battery state of charge. And these all connect to the Servo GX and ultimately a screen that will go inside, an LCD touchscreen that shares all the data that this gathers. Then let's talk about this disconnect here. We've been switching to this lately, and those of you that watch all of our videos, this is going to be boring for you and you've already seen it, but I can't tell you how much I absolutely love these. These are a game changer for us. Let me show you what we used to typically be using. Over on our parts shelf here, I've got a number of disconnects that we typically would use, different types of fusing. We've got class T's, we got mega fuses, we've got A&L fuses, we've got 600 amp, that's what's in this box here. We would use those all the time. I don't know that we're going to use them again. I bought them all. Look at all these. I don't know that we're going to ever use them again. And I'll tell you why. Because this is so much better. It's more compact. It has an interrupt capability equal to a Class T, and it's resettable. Okay? No more blowing a Class T fuse and going, crap. Now what? You know, you accidentally, maybe you're hooking up your batteries again, you accidentally touched, you know, a wire to a wire that it shouldn't, and you saw a spark and, oh crap. Now what do you do, right? Well, in this case, you just reset it, no big deal. And it acts as your disconnect all at the same time. And it's not that hard to operate, you know. It's a little chunky, but it works. The only downside of this is I do have to shave down the 4/0 lugs to fit in here. Other than that, works great. Okay, we will not be installing this on the board. It will be going in where the batteries are, because I figured that would be easier to get at. And I think we'll be connecting the PV disconnect somewhere up here in space, because this is going in that front compartment, remember? We're actually able to save so much space for this person's install that they're not going to be able to reach in to operate switches and shutoffs if we were to put them in here. I will admit it will be a challenge to change the fuses in here, but the way we do things, the fuses in here should have to be changed or maintained unless something really goes bad. And in that case, there's ways to do it. But the things that need to be serviced on a regular basis, we want to make sure that those are accessible as possible. Okay, last thing I wanted to mention, something that we're changing up with how we mount our multi-plus inverters when we mount them horizontal like this. I think what I'm going to start doing is mounting them with a piece of wood like this 3/4 inch plywood on the bottom here, and I'll paint it black to match that. But what that will do is it'll provide something for this to rest on, you know, line it up just perfect there. So when it's horizontal like this, there's a cleat that this normally connects to, but it can have a tendency to slide down just a little bit. So I think we're going to put this board right here, and that'll keep it from moving, keep it nice and secure. And there's 2 screws here that keep it nice and secure. Now you may be asking, well, there's also some, here, let's flip this over to give you an idea on the back side of it. So you got a mounting hole here, 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 and here. To get to these mounting holes, you got to take these screws out, okay? If we mount this like this, and we use those screw holes, this is not coming out. Not without the entire board coming out. I don't want to do that. Do I think this is going to fail? No, I don't. But let's plan as if it might have to be serviced, because that is a thing that could happen. And that gets to, then we'll use the cleat to secure it here, use some blocking, whatever. I'll get a different piece anyway, that's not the one I'll use. Just to support it here a little bit, and I think that's gonna be a much better solution. And these screws, of course, here, these are accessible even through the raceway. You just pop this cover off, zip, zip, and then you could pull this inverter out, put a new one in, you're back up and running. I was talking with somebody recently, and they were asking about what kind of material do we put over these boards to make them look a lot better. And it's just like an indoor-outdoor carpet material we get at a local home improvement store called Menards. If you're in the Midwest, you know all about it. And you can get these pretty cheaply. This time of year, you can get them as indoor-outdoor rugs. But that's not really the critical part. How we adhere it to the board. I use this 3M90 contact adhesive, and if you own a home or an RV or pretty much anything, I recommend having a can of this around somewhere. I've adhered body panels or trim pieces to my car that have started to come loose with this stuff. It is amazing. So it does a great job on the carpet. I'll show you how I do that. What I like to do is set it up like, not like that, and then I'll hold it up like this, and I'll spray both the board and the material down below, and let it, I believe in the industry they call it flashing, which is just let the VOCs off gas a little bit, or just let it get a little tacky, and then you just set it down like that, and then you spray along the edge here, spray the board along the edge a little bit, let it sit a little bit, and fold it right over, and it will not go anywhere, I guarantee it. And then you just trim off the excess with a utility knife, and bada bing, bada boom, it looks amazing. See? Now doesn't that look nice? Now let's put all this Victron stuff back on it. And just like that, we are about ready to start screwing stuff down and making wire. The only thing we got left to do, we still like to do this thing. And I want to say I like to think we were one of the people that helped popularize this idea of putting the shunt right on here like that, and putting the disconnect on there. Although, like I said, now we're doing that one, so we're not putting the disconnect on here quite as much anymore, or really at all. But we still like this idea, because every connection creates resistance, and we want to reduce resistance as much as possible. Getting the board put together here. Got it up on its side because we've got the batteries back here, and I'm trying to get a sense for how it's going to be once it's installed in the Airstream. And the reason why I don't have this hooked up just yet is because I'm not sure exactly the exact wire length on this, so I'm going to make that once it's in there. But I'm trying to make everything else beforehand so the install goes easily. And yes, if you're curious, we're burning a little midnight oil here. Just, you know, I got going on this and I'm having a good time, so I'm gonna keep going. Why not? Well, I've been hard at work here on this Airstream for, I don't remember when we last checked in, but it may have been a day. And that's typically a lot of times the way these projects works, where I try and share with you the plan, what we're doing, and then I got to get to work and do it, and then we'll check in. So that's what we're doing right now. So I've got, kind of see under here, I've got some cables run, at least the start of cables being run. So we're going to start with where the cables come up, and I had to put a hole right about there to pull. We've got 2 power cables, an HDMI, and a USB cable, all coming up through there. That's very near the low point drain. So we came up there, and then into here, and then into our panel. But I goofed up. Well, I didn't goof up on there. Goofed up on the next part. And over here, I've already test fit these batteries. That's going to work great. They're going to go right here. We've got the board in here, and it fit like a glove, let me tell you. That fits so good. But here's where I goofed up. I already landed my AC when I put it to AC out, and it really needs to go into AC in, and that's going to be a pain to unhook from there. So anyway, that's kind of what I got going on here. I got the HDMI and USB up here for the servo. Got solar to run, and I'm not going to worry about some of the solar until actually I'm going to mount the solar breaker over here so that the customer can get at it and flip it on and off. And then, yeah, battery's going to go here with a disconnect. And inverter's going to go away there. That solar charger we're not going to use anymore. And then you just, you know, it's done. You just got to do all that, and then you're done. And then we got to do the solar still. Soda solar. Really, it should be soda running wires, installing batteries and inverters. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand is when I tell people I do RV solar, they're like, oh, okay. You do a lot of solar panels? I'm like, probably about 20-30% of this job is actually the solar. Another day on the Airstream here. Let's catch you up where we're at. I think last couple of times we looked at this, there were wires hanging underneath here. We've now tidied all those up, hose clamped, and shielded it. Okay. That is taken care of. Let's go see what I really wanted to talk to you about inside. This customer wanted a power strip to be installed over here so they could plug in some, you know, some tools to charge whatever. And we took out the inverter that used to be there. Sorry, I didn't get that on camera. It's pretty simple. You just take some screws out, and then because we're not going to reuse it, we just clip the ends off of it. So here's one. We just clip that, and then I just clipped this outlet here, and the outlet there is what the inverter typically plugs into. And connecting these two together using that plug, it's doable. I've done it before. I've never been too thrilled with the connection. You know what, maybe I'll show you why here. All right, so this is the back side of this. I opened it up, and to parallel another line in here, what you do is you strip it and you push them down into these these knife grabber barbed ends. Look at that. It's kind of a sparkly video effect. Probably because I got a dirty lens. Anyway, I don't like it, especially for passing current through. So we're not going to use that. Let's get that out of here. Be gone. We're going to use a traditional box. And I'll just screw it down to the floor. And then we'll use some Wagos on it because we're going to add a third connection to it. All right, there's everything in the box, and I'm just going to put a cover on it, and that'll be good to go. Here's the power strip it's going to. This is one we picked up on Amazon. I really like it. Here's what I like about it. Obviously, it's a power strip, but it's also got built-in USBs. You got to have those. And what I really like is the mounting brackets. None of those things on the back where you got to line it up and then slide it. No. I like this much better. All right, let's see where we're at here. I think last we were talking, I think we were getting ready to do the solar. At least that's what I was thinking in my mind. So, or no, I think we were wiring up that breaker. So I've done that. This is working now, see? We wired up the solar breaker, and, you know, that was a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's better for the customer, and that means it's the right thing to do. So they can turn the solar off from in there. If we put it back here, I don't know how your arm would reach here. So we did that. Board's coming together, obviously, power's on. And look at this. Here is how the battery is mounted. It is secure in there. Guess where it's going? Nowhere. It is secured down with this kind of U-shaped board I made and covered it with some felt. And then we got an aluminum bracket there, keeping batteries from coming this way. And then I got a little spacer of wood there to keep the batteries from sliding side to side. They're pretty much locked in there. Got our big old beefy breaker in there. On a 12-volt system, I don't have any problem doing a single pole like this. And yeah, we got all the hots are covered up. So we should be in good shape there. I do have to secure that lug on there, and I got a little heat shrink I'll put over that. This right here is getting pretty darn close to where I think I'm just putting on covers. I'm starting to put everything back together now. which is great because I've been in here for a long time. Then I think next, got to mount the servo display here. Got this outlet to do. Finally got this cover in. That's going to look real sharp up against there. Better than that anyway. If if people wanted to, you could get 2 of these and replace them with that. And again, the thing I like about these is you get USBs in here. Everybody needs more USB ports, right? Oh, wait a minute. That's even got a USB-C on it? What? I didn't even know that. 3 USB ports. What's the world coming to? Then tomorrow's going to be a big day. We're doing the solar. So I think I'm probably going to call her quits for tonight. Been at this for most of the evening. As you might imagine, during the day, more and more, I'm left doing admin work and things like that. So I don't get as much time to work on these until, JD's coming down. He's going to be helpful. Can't wait to have him back. I think a couple of my boys might be helping out here too. Maybe turn this into a little bit of a family business. Why not? All right. Good morning. Got a little work done. Got this cleaned up. And got the Servo GX display installed here. You can see what we did. Ran it up through there. Put some cable ties. And ran it down through there. And then it goes into that compartment. Into this bathroom compartment here, down underneath the floor, and it pops up right over there. Next things I'm going to be doing is finishing up putting the cabinets in the kitchen, and then we're going to take care of the solar. Maybe I'll pull some of this stuff out here too. Now we're up on the roof. I already put together one of the air conditioners with a soft start. Sorry I didn't show that. It's super boring. Plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do it. I don't like doing them on these Dometics. The Mach Airs are super easy. These are probably a better air conditioner, but yeah, whatever. Let me show you what we're doing for the solar and some of the things we typically do when we're doing solar on an Airstream. What we got going on here is a whole mess of MC4 dongles, dinguses. So this right here is the typical SAE connector that comes off of these Merlin panels. And this is what came from the factory. This might be the first time we're actually seeing these up here. And these are rigid panels, but we're going with the Rich Solar ones. They're pretty darn good. These are, I want to say, $500-600 a piece if you can get them. If you can get them. So we talked to the customer and we're rolling with these. And we're going to get an additional 300 watts on here, bringing them up to 600 total, which is a great number for an Airstream like this. We have been able to get up to 800. If we removed those, we probably could, but we're sticking with what we got here. So one of the things we do is with this SAE connector here is we'll clip that and turn them into MC4 connectors. With these, I was able to do that. A lot of times we replace them. You can look on Amazon for some SAE to MC4 adapters, and we prefer to do that. And the nice thing with this is there's 8-gauge wire running from here down to the charger bay, so you've got a lot of room. You can do a little bit more parallel solar paneling this way. So these are currently all in parallel, these 3. So we got 300 watts in parallel. We're going to add 300 more, and we're going to do those also in parallel. We just got so many different types of panels. We got 50s, 100s, Zamp, or not Zamp, Merlin. We're going to run them all in parallel, and I know there are some definite downsides to that, okay? We are on team higher PV voltage all the time, but we're at the upper end of what this will support, and we're going to do that. All right, I got the panels wired up. I am satisfied with what we got going on here. Got one more over there. Got that over there. Everything seems to be on the up and up, so I think I'm going to secure them down. Show you how we do that in a moment, but I wanted to talk about, as I was putting this together, I was thinking to myself, what's the internet experts going to say about this? Oh, maybe all in parallel, that's too much, that's this, that, there's a lot of different ways to do this. One of my thoughts when I'm doing really almost anything in life, the older and older I get, is I think about pragmatic solutions, okay? There's what's best in theory, and then there's what's best that's going to work kind of in the real world, and that's generally where we try to focus on, is making the best of the situation we have, not being disappointed because we can't have the perfect solution all the time. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm not just talking about solar. Who knows? And it looks like we've got just enough sun. We could probably pull it outside and see if we get power. Got it all up here, all secured down. I think I might put a zip tie on those a little bit. Other than that, we are in great shape. Because that's pretty much the entire point of a solar system, is to collect solar energy. So let's make sure that it does, huh? We got the groundskeeper over there making a ruckus. Anyway, we're getting a little solar here. We're pretty late in the day, and we got a little partial shade, I suppose. Pretty much giving it about the worst possible chances ever. 215 on 200 watts, about a third. That's about what we can expect. And yeah, we are running an air conditioner as a load test. Pulling 127 amps. We'll get the FLIR camera on all that here in just a moment. Now we really get to see what's going on here. So here's ambient at 66. Let's see how hot these are. They certainly look hot, don't they? It's getting a little warm. Yeah, it's definitely, that's the downside of these 12-volt systems. But everything there seems to be what I would consider safe temperatures. Nothing's crazy. Now let's look over here at the link side. I like to feel as well. How's everything look on the multi-plus side? This test has been going on now for probably at least 10-15 minutes. I think I'm going to let it go a little bit more and just see if anything gets out of control. But so far, everything's looking within tolerances. Alright, little update in here. Things are starting to go back together. We got that cabinet over there. It's not screwed in, but it is there. Made a move here and added a fan that we've done plenty of other times before, that is connected to the multi-plus, and it's running right now currently. It's blowing air. The way we hook that up is there's a K1 relay, that's what it's called, on the multi-plus. It's programmable using VE configure. Someday maybe I'll do a video on it. I want to say I have, but you can program it to come on when certain things happen. In this case, when the multi-plus fan comes on, I have that fan come on. That way, because for the most part, the only time this will ever get too warm is when that is charging or discharging. Let's take a look over here. We've got this outlet going in there, and look at this. These holes here are going to line up perfect. These are the same holes that used to be there. That's crazy. So what I did was I took the back cover off of this thing, which I don't like doing this, but it's either that or replace this entirely. So anyway, I took the cover off, ran a new 15 amp white wire, what's it called? Romex. From here into here, and I took the one that used to be here and pulled it through here. Does that make sense? So they're all, basically I just put this in line in parallel with the rest of the system. And now I'm about ready to put it in there, get it screwed in, get this put back, and then we will have another outlet with 3 USB ports. How cool is that? Alright, look at that. Doesn't that look nice? I like it. So the other thing we got to deal with is these batteries. We haven't dealt with those yet. Alright, just got done with this here. Got all the reds tied together, all the blacks tied together. And then we can just kind of fold them up in here, zip tie them right inside there, and then you got this entire space to use for whatever you would like. Leveling blocks. That's actually, we had some here somewhere. Some leveling blocks you can put in here. One of the things I do before I button this up and I say, yeah, it's good to go, I test the tongue jack here, making sure that works. You just want to kind of test as many things as possible. Just because, you know, I might have forgotten to hook something up once or twice. Not on this one, but I gotta be honest, this is one of the things that I enjoy the most. Is just taking a look at the work we did and knowing that that is going to serve this customer for a long time and improve their camping experience. And not only that, like I said, it's going to look good, right? You see that? And there's plenty of room to still store everything that they stored in there before. So I think that's going to call it for this one. This one has been probably one of the more challenging ones I've had to do. I think it was just having to mount the servo. That was a little tricky. Running the main cables underneath, that was a little bit tricky. You know, done it before. Actually, this is the first time on an Airstream, but done it before plenty of times on other RVs. But a lot of times there's a part that's hard, then there's a part that's easier. Almost everything on this was a little bit hard. I don't know that there was a whole lot that was easy. But it doesn't matter that that was a little bit harder. I'm still proud of it, and I hope the customer loves it. Speaking of that, I hope you love this. I hope you love it so much that you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And check us out at sotasolar.com. We'd love to help you out with one of your RVs. You can have it done right in this shop, just like this person. We'll do a video on it. That's pretty much what we do. On almost every project, we do a video on it. Anyway, it's getting late. I gotta get this video out. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.